Oh, lordy, lord. Game 6 is in the books and Celtics win. Wow, guys. I think that game took about 10 years off my life. I was stressed the whole time. I was at work, standing up, looking like an absolute lunatic. Between the turnovers, Tatum getting next to no points until the fourth quarter, the entire game, even though we had a lead, I thought we were donezo. I thought the season was over. We talked about Jaylen Brown in the last episode. He had 17 points, which is not the best in the situation where Tatum wasn't scoring. I talked about how he might need to steal us a game and, score 30, 35, 40 points. And, Tatum wasn't producing any offense, and he didn't step up at all. The person who did step up was the man, the myth, Marcus Smart. I think he pretty much won us that game. He had 22 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. And I don't think the stats really do justice for the impact that he actually had on the game. Whenever, the Sixers started getting momentum and it seemed like they might pull away, Smart had scored a nice basket or had a steal or just some type of play that it was like, all right, turn the momentum back to us or, not completely give it to them. And if it wasn't for him, I think that we definitely would have lost 100%. I think that this was probably, I was thinking back, and mind you, the game just happened, so. But I think this is probably one of the best games I've seen Marcus Smart play ever as a Celtics. I can't think of another game where he really had that much of an impact as he did tonight. I'm sure there's a couple, but this game was definitely up there. Brogdon also had 16 points and had a big game. I think that Tatum and Brown, when they get on that plane, need to go and shake all the boys' hands and say thank you for keeping us in that game. So after the game, Smart said something that really, I was like, wait a second. When I heard it, I don't have the exact quote here, so I'm going to paraphrase, but he said basically, Joe, as in Joe Mazzulla, has been getting killed in the media. He meant killed, and rightfully so. He's learning with all of us. And like I said, that's not the exact quote, but that's basically what he said. When he said rightfully so, what are you saying there, Mr. Smart? When he says rightfully so, it's like, okay, what's the confidence level that they have in Missoula? What did Marcus Smart actually mean by that? It was just weird. I'm like, rightfully so, Marcus? Are you throwing him under the bus a little bit? And it goes back to what I was saying in the episode before this, when Joe kind of just said the team played terrible, and I was like, oh, he was holding them accountable. I wonder if Smart's like, oh, okay, you want to do that to us? Well, I can do it right back. So that situation definitely just got a lot more interesting. Smart also said, because they asked him about Robert Williams, and he was talking about how, we need to make an adjustment, and Joe finally did that. He finally made that adjustment. So are they all sitting around when is Joe going to put Williams in? When are we going to go back to the two bigs and so we don't lose this series? Just the way that he said, it was only it was a short clip, so it's not like he really went into detail or anything, but just that little snippet, that little couple sentences where he goes rightfully so, and then he goes, Joe finally made those adjustments. It's just weird. I want to know what you guys think about what Marcus Smart said tonight, and do you think that this situation may be a little bit worse than we thought it was initially? So another big storyline about this game was Tatum. Everyone was talking about, uh, we need Tatum to start faster, and he hasn't started games fast this year or in this series, and it's really been screwing us. And then all of a sudden, going into the fourth quarter, he has 5 points. Oh my lord, what a disaster. Thank God for the bench players, guys, or we would be not having this conversation. Brown had 17, so it's not like he was doing as bad as Tatum. Tatum ended up scoring, ending the game with more points than Brown does, which kind of goes back to my point that we need Brown to step up when Tatum's getting locked down and not shooting well like that. Um, but Tatum, being the star that he is, decides, you know what? When the Celtics look down and out, he's like, I'm gonna turn it on now, guys. Sorry, I waited so long. Like, let me just go ahead and win the game for you guys. So in the fourth quarter, as I'm sure you guys saw, he hit, what was it, four threes, I believe. At the very end, I think he had 14 points or 16 points in the uh, final quarter and basically won the game for us. But still, going forward in the playoffs, in game seven, we need him the whole time, guys. We need him the whole time. We got another interesting snippet from Tatum after the game where he said, paraphrasing here, I don't know if I can use. I have to look to see if I can use the interview clips in the podcast. So that'll be on my list. So I just don't want to get copyrighted or anything. So he said basically, humbly, I'm one of the best players in the world, and sometimes it takes me a minute to get going. I love that he said that. Some people might be like, "Oh, you're so cocky." Like, I don't like that, dude. You just played so terrible, and you did well at the end of the game, but you basically almost lost it for your team. Hey, I love that he has that attitude, and he finally showed a little bit of confidence, and he is that good, so he can say that. And he was MVP candidate for most of the year, made the first team All Stars. So it's like, yeah, you are Tatum. So let's get some confidence going into game seven, and snowball on what you're thinking here, and let's bully these guys and win the game. Now, game seven predictions. I gave my keys last episode. They've changed just a tiny bit, but once again, Tatum needs to come out and start hot. Brown needs to stay consistent through the whole game. We do need that 24 points from him at least. 17's on the lower end. We need more, I think. Um, if Tatum doesn't start hot, then come on, Brown. Come on. Be that number two. I think that we should keep the two big starting lineup, Williams and Horford. I think that was working well for us. And I think that, um, they can start getting a little bit more, what's the word, chemistry. And it might flow a little bit better now that they're playing the second game together with that starting lineup. Obviously, limit the turnovers. Those were pathetic. There was about, 20 of them. And, the Sixers scored a ton of points off of those turnovers. So if we could limit those and our scoring is better, then I think the game could turn into, I wouldn't want to say a blowout, but something that's not super close. Not a 2-3 point game, something more than that. I think the lines opened up at like 5.5. So it'll be interesting to see what they do until the game starts. And we need the role players to do exactly what they did in this game. Even if Tatum is scoring, I think that Smart can still have a huge, huge impact, whether it's defensively or, if we go on a little drought of missed shots, get us going that way. Brogdon, do what he does. We still need those guys to do what they're doing, but we just need our stars to continue to be our stars and score that, 25, 30, 35 points. Because you never know. Harden can come out and have another one of those big games, and we need someone to match him, and Tatum or Brown needs to match him. Embiid's going to have a big game, and we're able to match him with the other players. But, if Harden comes out and wants to have another monster game, then we need our role players to score, 15, 16 points, whatever. And we need Tatum and Brown to go back and forth with them. So I think that the Celtics win this game 7, and I honestly have no idea how close this game's going to be. Like I said, the game just did.
Podcasters,
And
come here.
oh,
Yes, you. Come
sorry
here.
guys. And I'm honestly not sure, so you're going to have to ask me tomorrow. So call or text the line 774-277-8273. You can leave a voicemail. Let me know Game 6 reactions, Game 7 predictions, what I said about Missoula. Let me know your thoughts on that. If you're not comfortable leaving a voicemail, a text is completely fine. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, leave a review on Spotify, whatever platform you're listening on. And I'll be back after Game 7 as soon as I can. Peace.